Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to be discussing an interview that was done on Reddit. I'll leave the link in the description below because I'm not going to read out everything that was in that interview. Just a few of the points that we can talk on here. And the biggest thing that we got out of this interview, which is going to be very divisive amongst a lot of players, is in regard to the speed stat that we're going to be able to get from the glyphs. So when asked what the maximum speed stat is going to be, they said that we will be getting a maximum of 3 speed per secondary stat stack with a maximum of 5 stacks per glyph. So this means that we could potentially get 15 speed per glyph once it is fully upgraded. Now this is percentage based, so this is not going to be every single glyph that everyone's going to get. It's probably not going to happen all that often, but on a perfect roll you'll get 15 speed off that glyph times the 6 glyphs that you can apply to one character, and you could have a massive 90 speed added to a single character. Now again, I know this is not going to be a very common thing, but the fact that it is potential means that there will be people out there that will be able to spend the money to buy multiple of these glyphs and eventually get those stats that they can apply. 90 speed is absolutely game breaking, and I really hope that they reassess this maximum speed that we can get before they release these into the game. And to put it into perspective, as far as I'm aware, the fastest character in the game currently is Goldberz, and he has a speed of 186. So you're talking about nearly a 50% increase on his speed if you apply it to him. Now you take someone like Gaza, who has 135 speed, and you're talking about bumping him right up to 225. Now yes, he will lose 10% because of his passive ability, a Giant's Bane. However, that still puts him over that 200 mark, which can make him the fastest character on your roster. Now having a character like that being that fast is absolutely devastating to any team, and it kind of gets into the territory of it being completely unfair to other players. Now of course 90 is not going to be very common, however I'm sure that we are going to see plenty of examples of characters that are going to have an extra 50 plus speed added to them, and that just means that speed is going to become the only real relevant stat when it comes to these glyphs. That is something that I think a lot of players have been worried about from the moment that glyphs were announced, and it just takes all the strategy out of the game, which I don't think is good for anybody. If they said that each glyph will have a maximum of 3 speed that you could get out of it, I think that is a much better solution. I'm not really a fan of speed being a part of this at all, but if it's going to be, I would rather it just be being used to adjust the order in which some of your characters might go. Maybe just bump their speed up just that little bit more to make sure that they can outpace another character that might be part of a strategy going up against a particular type of team, or even when it comes to the raids like chapter 3, where you might have someone that's just a little bit slower than that 164 mark. You want to bring them up so that you can get those bonus points right from the start of the match. That would be a much smarter way of doing things. Then if we really wanted to increase the speed of characters after that for some of the harder chapters in the raid, because I know that difficulty 4 and 5, they are so much faster than any character that we have that it's kind of crazy. Once we get to those higher gear tiers, introducing gear level 10, 11, 12, etc., you can always add a little bit of speed to some of those gear pieces in those sets, and that way everybody has the same opportunity to increase the speed of those characters at a controlled rate. That's just my thoughts on the speed side of things. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Maybe you're really happy about being able to have such an increase in speed. That's perfectly fine. Everyone's opinion is more than welcome and perfectly valid. The next question that I want to take a quick look at is in reference to the next legendary character that we're going to have in the game. They were asked if there's a hint on who it's going to be. Now, they did say that it will be before the end of the year, but the only clue that they gave us is they said that they'll be from The Hobbit. Now, they didn't say who we would need or anything like that. Didn't even say if we already have some of those characters in the game. But given the dwarves that they have been dropping lately, Thorin could be a possibility. They didn't say whether it was going to be light or shadow. I really hope that it is a shadow character. And if it is, I really hope that we're going to see someone like Azog being put into the game. We really want to be able to take those Misty Mountains characters to another level. And when you're talking about legendary characters, those two definitely fit that mold. The only other ones that I can really pick from that story that you could probably call legendary might be Bilbo or Gollum. But when you're talking about a squad building game, they don't really fit that mold. So I would be surprised if it is either of them. You could probably even talk about someone like Bard. He was a very important character. Someone like Thranduil was also another important character in that story. But I just think that they'll save them for another time. They are very good characters, definitely heroes you want to see in the game. But whether they kind of fit that legendary status, I don't know if they're the ones that we're likely to see. It's always good to speculate those, so throw those names into the comments. I want to hear what you guys are thinking. Who could be that next legendary character and why? I would love to make a follow-up video on that topic. So let's see if we can get involved and give me plenty of things to talk about there. But moving on to the next question, and this is in regards to getting more shadow characters in the game. We have had 11 light side characters added, but only 2 shadow characters added since launch. So if you're like me and you really like those shadow characters, then get ready because there are a whole heap of shadow characters coming before the end of the year, which is really exciting news. Someone did mention Halloween, and they did say that is kind of a spooky season. It does really fit the shadow theme. So towards the end of October, we could start seeing some more of those shadow characters coming in. Now, if you are specifically thinking about the Nazgul, someone did ask about that, and it doesn't look like we're going to see them before the end of the year. And the main reason for that is because the devs really want to give each of the Nazgul their time to shine. So when we do see them, they will be very powerful characters. So they're not really going to be throwing them into the game just yet. And obviously that will eventually lead up to unlocking the Witch King, that I'm sure will be a legendary down the track somewhere. So for everyone that really wants those Nazgul in the game, they will eventually be coming, just not straight away. But when they do, they are going to be awesome. Now, one other thing that was asked is about the return of Elrond. They didn't say specifically when that would be, but they did say that the Arwen and Elladan events were returning. We have already had the Arwen one, so maybe the Elladan one will be coming up. And they said that it could be shortly after that. So if you guys have not been farming your elves, you may miss out. Make sure that you are definitely farming those shards. You want to get 5 elves at least to 5 stars so that you can unlock Elrond. If you can get the 7 stars, even better. But you want to make sure that you have him in the game because that team is so dominant in so many different areas of the game, and even a 5-star Elrond is a very good character. So don't sit around waiting for the official announcement to start doing that. Get to farming ASAP. Now, there were plenty of other questions in regards to raids, improvements, the bottlenecks as far as resources are concerned. The devs did answer so many different questions. I will let you guys discover all of that for yourself. Don't forget, in the description below, you will see the link to this interview so you can check all of that out in your own time. But that's it for this one, guys. Don't forget, like and sub, you know the deal. We got plenty more Heroes of Middle-earth coming your way. Don't miss out, and we'll catch you in the next one.